Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to do another romantic trope specific recommendations video. That's a mouthful. But either way, I've done a lot of these. I've done hate to love, fake dating, friends to lovers, second chance romance, and I'm just going to keep on going with it because the genre I read the most from is romance. So I always have a ton of different subgenres or tropes that fit within it. Today we're doing, as you can tell by the title, Grumpy meets Sunshine or Grumpy Sunshine. Either way, basically what it is usually our hero of the story, our guy is the grumpy guy that's just ugh, and then he meets this literal ball of sunshine and she's happy-go-lucky. The sun shines out of her and of course they fall in love, so it's literally what it says, Grumpy Sunshine. I have a big old stack here of books that I think fit perfectly with this specific trope, so buckle up and let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the first two books in the When in Rome series by Sarah Adams because I think they both fit the Grumpy Sunshine particular trope. In the first book we have When in Rome, and this is set in Rome, Kentucky, I believe, and this is all about a character named Amelia who is a pop singer sensation, kind of think of like Taylor Swift, and she's getting burnt out and she loves Aubrey Hepburn movies and she's like, I'm gonna watch Roman Holiday, and then she's like, maybe I can go to Rome, but she can't just go to Rome, so she decides to go to Rome, Kentucky. There she meets really surly Noah who owns a pie shop. You can guess they fall in love. I didn't love this one as much. It's not what made me fall in love with Sarah Adams, but the sequel, companion novel to this book, definitely did, and that is Practice Makes Perfect. Now, this is about Annie and Will. Will is the bodyguard of Amelia from the first book, and I wouldn't say he's grumpy, he's just quiet, reserved, keeps to himself, really doesn't believe in the idea of love, and then he meets Annie, who is Noah's sister in the first book. See how it's all kind of connecting together. And Annie is a literal ball of sunshine. She's adorable. She's cute. She owns a flower shop. She just wants to find her happily ever after. And her and Will hit it off, and they kind of have this fake dating kind of experiment where he'll teach her how to date so she can find the one. You can put the dots together. But this one was definitely my favorite. But both of them have that grumpy sunshine feel to them, which is why I'm recommending them both. But if I had to pick one, I would pick this one for sure. Summer is just around the corner, which means it is perfect timing to read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This is one of my favorites by her. This follows Piper and Brendan. Piper is very much inspired by the character Alexis on Schitt's Creek. If you haven't watched that show, please do. Whenever I think of Piper, I just think of Alexis.
Love that journey for me.
So she's a rich, kind of haughty girl that doesn't want for anything, and her stepdad's like, you know what? You're too spoiled. So you're gonna go to this really small seaside town where your dad actually lived and kind of redo the bar that's there. And it's a really small fishing town. And there she meets Brendan, who's a surly captain. You're gonna hear that word surly a lot because I think it's better than grumpy, but surly, grumpy, you know what I'm saying. And immediately they don't like each other. But again, you can guess where it's going to go. They end up falling in love. And this is a very steamy book. I will say Sarah Adams are closed doors, so no steam. This one definitely has some, so just be warned. But I really liked it. I loved the Grumpy Sunshine. He fell hard. You know, I love that kind of aspect of books. And this is one of my favorite, like I said, Tessa Bailey books. Next up, I'm recommending books 2 and 4 of the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. The second one is about Cade Eaton. So this whole series kind of follows the Eaton brothers, if you will, or adjoining characters. It's one of those companion novels. Like I said with Sarah Adams, this series, I did not like the first one as much, but I love the second one. So this one, like I said, follows Cade, who is a single dad, and he owns a ranch, and he's just kind of grumpy and all that kind of things. And he really needs a nanny for the summer for his son because he works late. His son won't be in school. Enter in Willa, who is best friend with Summer, who was our heroine in the first book in the series, if you get where I'm going with that. She's happy, she's fun, she's kind of like a loose cannon, and she becomes the nanny to Luke, Cade's son. And Cade and her do not get along. He's very, goes by the book with things, and Willa's like, let's have fun, that's what life's all about. And Cade is very much not that, but they have this very big attraction towards each other, and I love this one, ate this up, so I would highly recommend it. Likewise with the fourth one of the series. These two are my favorite in the series thus far. This one might be my favorite, I don't know. This is the fourth one in the series, and this follows Summer's sister, catch me here. Winter. Nevertheless, this is about Winter and Theo. So like I said, Winter is Summer's sister. This is kind of the opposite way of Grumpy Sunshine. In this book, Winter is the grumpy and Theo is the sunshine, which I always love a twist like that because it's like, not all guys have to be grumpy. You know, girls can be that too. It can just be kind of have a hard exterior. It doesn't mean they're grumpy. You know, it's like a whole thing. Either way, Winter is just coming out of a really bitter divorce. She's really upset. And she meets Theo, who is kind of involved in the series as a friend of the family. And they decide to have one night together. Just one night to get their attraction out. And that is it. And then, you know, what happens during that one night? Oh, Winter ends up pregnant. I'm going to go leave that from there. But man, the chemistry in this book was so good. Winter was a soft, gooey puddle when it came to Theo, and Theo was just a literal ball of sunshine. I love both of these books in the series. Will do you no wrongs. Books 2 and 4, Chestnut Springs. Go check it out. Next up, we have Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is her first romance novel and still one of my favorites by her. Now, this one follows January, who is an author, and she's also going through a really hard time in her life. Her father passed away, and she learned a lot about her father that she never knew about, but she ends up moving into his kind of beach, seaside kind of house. And then who lives literally right behind her is Augustus, who she used to go to school with, and he's also an author. They get to talking about how much they just really don't enjoy each other. They both commiserate how they are having writer's block because they both write books, like I said. They write very different genres from each other. January writes a lot of romance with happy endings, and Augustus writes a lot of really hardcore, like nonfiction or fiction that's really dark. Like the book that he's researching now that he wants to do is like based in kind of cults, and they decide, hey, why not kind of switch genres? Let's team up together. Maybe Andrew can write a book with a happy ending, and January can get some more emotional sadness and depth into her romance novels, and you can see where it's going from there. But either way, January, you know, is pretty happy-go-lucky and good before the things happen with her dad. But Augustus is kind of, you know, he's dark and broody and all that kind of stuff. But man, I love this one. Again, a great summer read. Of course, it's beach read. It does have a lot of depth to it, but I really enjoyed it. Next up, we have The Wall of Winnipeg to Me by Mariana Zapata, one of my favorites. This one follows Vanessa, who is an assistant to Aiden, who is a professional. He's on the defense team of football, NFL, okay? And she's just really not liking her job. She thinks that he treats her like crap, and so she's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I quit. Bye. And then 2 days later, he shows up at her door and he's like, look, I'm going to get deported because I didn't renew my green card. Like, will you marry me so I can stay in this country to play football? I'll pay off all your college loans. Nothing has to come of it. I just really just need a green card. And she's like, well, crap, pay off my college loans. Why don't you? And it's a beautiful romance. He is very much the definition of grumpy. Like, he's just so set in football, doesn't have time for friends, doesn't have time for love. He's just does not care. He's just so tunnel vision. But of course, Vanessa brings out happiness in him, and it's just a beautiful organic love story that I always talk about and always recommend. It's a fun one. I should also recommend the other book by Mariana Zapata I've read, All Roads Lead Here. It is very Grumpy Sunshine, more so than The Wall of Winnipeg. I mean, I should have recommended this one first, but either way, it's a great one. It's kind of an outdoorsy one. Grumpy single dad meets very sunshine girl. Grumpiness ensues, love ensues. It's adorable. You'll love it. It's amazing. Next up, we have The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This is book 2 of the Windy City series. This book follows Ryan and Indy. Ryan is a professional basketball player, and again, like Aiden, he has got tunnel vision. No time for love, no time for friends, just basketball, sleep, workout, repeat. You get what I'm saying? And then Indy moves into his apartment. Indy is his twin sister's best friend, and she's coming out of a really tumultuous relationship. Indy is the definition of a ball of sunshine. Some of these characters, they have sunshine potential. Some of them are just full-on sunshines. I am not. If you think I'm a ball of sunshine, I am not. I have some sunshine in me, but I also have, you know, clouds and stuff. I'm a mixture. But either way, Indy is a literal ball of sunshine. She comes in and she wants her and Ryan to be friends, but of course, as always with romance, ... you can tell what's going on. It's an adorable one. My favorite one in the series thus far. Would highly recommend it. I have 2 more I will talk about briefly. The Catch by Amy Lee. This is about 2 characters, one named Melanie and the other one named Evan. Melanie is an influencer, and somehow through a turn of events, she ends up at this really rundown B&B in this very small fishing town, I want to say in Nova Scotia or Canada. There she meets Evan, who just despises her at first glance. He is grumpy, he is moody, he's like, I don't have time for no influencers, forget that. But of course, as always, I will say, you can guess where it's going. She's not full on sunshine. She's got a lot of sunshine qualities, which brings out sunshine qualities in Evan. Sunshine that's a tongue twister, but this was a cute one. Not one of my favorite, I would say, Grumpy Sunshine, but a good one. Then we have The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. This one, is it the first Grumpy Sunshine one I've read? I don't know. It was Calla. Calla has lived all of her life not really knowing her dad. Then she learns her dad is getting sick and she decides, you know, I should probably try to have a relationship with him. So she goes on down to Alaska where he's a charter pilot for, and she meets him, and then she meets gruff and grumpy Jonah, who's also a pilot, and he's like, this city girl, get her out of here. And they eventually will warm up to each other. Jonah's not 100% grumpy and Calla's not 100% sunshine, but they both have those qualities in them a little bit, which I think is why it fits the bill for this recommendations video. But there you have it. And there you have some Grumpy Sunshine books that I love and adore. Am I missing some? Absolutely, because I always will. Will I do another one of these videos? Yeah, probably. So be on the lookout for that eventually one day. But I would love to know, what are some of your favorite Grumpy Sunshine books? Please let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.